Well, hello and welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori. I am your host, and today we have quite a treat. We have Allisen Corpuz here, 2023 U.S. Women's Open champion. Does that get old?
It still hasn't.
That's still not bad. Okay, well, before we get into such an incredible year this year, I have to say, I just got off the golf course. I was playing a tournament round today, and it was 6+ hours. Yeah. Are your rounds that long too?
We're usually around 5.5, which is also pretty slow.
How do you deal with that pace? Have you just gotten so used to it at this point?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, it doesn't feel as slow as it looks on paper for us. I feel like it's just the tournament plays really tough, and you finish the round and you're like, oh wow, that took a while. But I mean, like, everyone on tour is also really friendly. Like, it's not a bad time to be out there.
Exactly. We also have Tara Ransdell, founder, owner of Taylor Jordan, joining us. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
It was only fitting to have you on with Allisen, first and foremost, because you had to get me in touch with Allisen. You guys are super close. But can you tell the story of how you met Allisen and just the relationship you've had with Taylor Jordan and Tara?
Yep. So I was introduced to Allisen. She had the same agent as a previous player. And so I had been introduced to him, and he was like, check out this gal, and she's going to be a rookie. And I mean, I hate to say, I really didn't watch a lot of college golf. Mm-hmm. So, I started doing some research, and I'm like, wow, like, she's like the real deal. Like, reading all the stats and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Like, let's do this. Yeah. So it's been obviously an awesome ride for us to just be able to come along with her.
Yeah. Tara is your number one fan. I don't know if you know that or not. I mean, because you've had such an incredible year, and I feel like Tara has been your top cheerleader the entire time.
Yeah.
So she is so proud of you. So let's go right into the U.S. Open. Okay, let's have that be the icebreaker for today's episode. So going into Pebble Beach, weren't you under the weather? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, so I was actually okay going into the week. We had a few travel issues coming back from KPMG. I mean, I honestly didn't really touch my clubs too much leading into it. And then I got there, and just the weather, I think, just made my allergies kick up really bad. I mean, it was really foggy, really humid and cold as well. So kind of as the week went on, I was getting kind of sicker and sicker.
And how did you approach that? Did you really take more time to recover, or did you take less time to warm up during the day? Like, how did your schedule adjust as, your health?
Yeah, I mean, I think major weeks are always tough. I always just like trying to build in a little more rest for sure. Even if I were healthy, just making sure that, I feel prepared and rested for the week.
Yeah. What'd you feel about Pebble Beach, the course? Yeah, you've obviously had played there before, or was that?
No, that was my first time.
First time.
I mean, it was awesome. Like, I've obviously seen pictures. I've watched a lot of videos of the men playing, but to just be there in real life and just see how beautiful it is. I mean, the pictures don't do it justice. And then they let us play at the Hay as well, the little 9-hole course that they have. And so I got to play the par 3 course with my dad, I think Sunday afternoon, which was really fun too. And I mean, I had a lot of family and friends out there that week watching me. So it was just really fun overall.
Yeah, what a treat. How about the holes in general? Did it, I mean, obviously fit your eye, because you played it so well, right? Or how did you feel about playing on the course?
There was one college course, I think, that we played that was very similar that I played a lot. It did fit my eye pretty well. It felt very familiar, even though I hadn't played it before. I mean, I had seen so many of the holes, again, on TV and pictures, but it was different to just go there and play. And number 7 looks like 150 yards sometimes. And, you get there and it's 100 max. Yeah. Stuff like that, just kind of being able to see how the course lined up of the perception that I had going into the week was really cool. And some holes just played so much tougher than they look.
Yeah. Tara, what was your experience like watching Allisen that week in particular? Because, again, it's out there, U.S. Open. You get a lot of televised content where you can watch easily for your
So a year in advance, I had planned on being there, and I was like dead set, like I want to be at that tournament. And then I got Jordan's schedule, and it was going to be like Jordan at a tournament, Jordan at a tournament. I was supposed to play at Forest Highlands, and then I like hurt my back really bad. So I was so bummed, and I wanted to be there. And then Carrie called me from Dallas, and she's like, it was Saturday, and she goes, I'm flying out, Tara, let's go. Because her friend Angel Yin was playing good. And so she's like, you should fly out. And I was like, Carrie, I can barely walk like from one room to the next. But I was so upset. And I'm like, no, I as much as I want to be there, I can't be. And then, you know, she started out so hot on Sunday that 3 holes in, I was like, she's got this. Like she has, like, you were just in a zone that was like, I'm like, she's got this.
Did you feel the same way, Allisen? Did you feel after the first 3 holes like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it felt like a win after the first 3 holes, but I mean, like I look back on that day, and I've said it before, like I had a par putt on number 2 that kind of sat on the edge for a few seconds and then fell in. Like I've literally never had a putt fall in like that, just kind of like wait a few seconds and fall in. So, I mean, and then obviously started off with a birdie and on 1 and 3 as well. So, I mean, just to get off to such a good start and just kind of just feeling like my game was in a really good spot, it was more just like, okay, like let's just take it, you know, one hole at a time. But like right now I'm in the best position that I could be at.
Mm-hmm. How were your nerves in that final round? And I'm honestly, and is there a time in particular that you can remember that you had to really center yourself, really like get present and kind of be like, okay, just focus on this shot? Is there a chance in particular or spot in particular that you really had to dial it in?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had nerves going on the whole day. I mean, just being in the final pairing, everything was a little different. We had kind of changed my warm-up routine just because the day before, like I had putted on like the lower putting green, and then people were asking me for signatures on the way to the tee box. So then like the final day we were, you know, like, let's stay upstairs and putt, you know, more by the driving range, and then just go straight to the first tee. There were just a few changes that we had to make that put me a little out of my comfort zone. I mean, even just being on the first tee and seeing how many people there were.
Yeah.
The first tee's always, I think, probably my least favorite shot.
Is it?
Just kind of, you know, not really knowing how the round's going to start. And yeah, I mean, I was wearing my Whoop that week, and like I was at just
off the chart.
just my heart rate was just high for like 7 hours in a row. It was pretty funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's cool and calm, right?
Yes.
Like it just like looks easy. I'm always like, God.
But yeah, I mean, like they had a camera walking like 10 feet in front of us the entire round, both on me and NASA, just because we were the final group, and that was different as well. Like I couldn't really talk to Jay as much as I would have wanted to, like to try to get rid of the nerves. But no, I mean, I felt really nervous, but for some reason I also felt very calm throughout the day. Like it was really just kind of talking myself down and saying like, hey, like one shot at a time. Like if, you know, you just go out there and try your best and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. It's so freaking relatable that you say the first tee is when you're most nervous. You still stand by first tee was the most nervous, or was walking down 18?
By the time I walked down 18, I mean, like I had a 3-shot lead. It was pretty comfortable.
Even the tee shot, like
yeah. So I mean, everyone kind of asked me why I hit driver, but for me, I mean, I don't reach that right bunker. I don't think a lot of people know that. So I mean, the fairway was like 100 yards wide.
Yeah.
Because I can't reach the bunker. And I mean, like I had hit it great all week. I had been hitting the ball really well. I mean, we were on the clock for a little through like 12 and 13. So I really had to work really hard not to, you know, keep rushing and like trying to make up the time then. It was really just trying to stick to my routine. So I'd probably say that was the point in the round where I was maybe the most nervous, or like kind of had the chance to like let it go. But then accidentally saw the leaderboard after 14, saw that I had a 4-shot lead.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you actually. How often do you look at the leaderboard? Do you do it intentionally, unintentionally? Because I think, was Charlie Hall the only one kind of making a run for it that final day? So
yeah, so I didn't even know that Charlie was making a run. I really just figured, I can't remember how we stood going to the third round, but I mean, I know I was in second. I was 1 stroke behind NASA, and I think we had a bit of a buffer between us and the rest of the field. So I kind of went into the final round thinking like, okay, like if you beat NASA and you play your best, like no one can really catch up. So I mean, I saw Charlie at the leaderboard at that point, but really didn't look at the leaderboard throughout the whole round. I've looked at the leaderboard in the past, and I just feel like I play better trying to go out there and just try to play my best instead of like, oh, like this is what I'm chasing. I think it's just been better for me to say, okay, like what's my best and can I go do that?
Yeah. In your plans, in your dreams, did you ever think that a professional golfer would be walking down the 18th hole at the U.S. Women's Open in Taylor, Georgia?
No, it was pretty cool. You know, I know I've told Allisen this, but on Sunday, you know, we had like this nationwide text out to do birdie shots.
Yes.
And so
Allisen, you're solely responsible for a lot of drunk ladies that day.
And so a few women told me, they're like, oh, you know, I had a rough night last night. Maybe I'll just do Sprite or something. I'm like, okay, that's okay. Just do something. And then when you started birdie, par, birdie, I sent out a text. I'm like, we might die today. But it was so cool because, I mean, Jordan had like Dr. Pepper and she's like, you know, it was just Jason, Jordan, and I at home and we're like high-fiving, we're running around. And
it was so fun to watch. It was so fun to watch.
It was so cool.
And even just like, obviously, you are the owner of Taylor Joy. I can't imagine how it would felt, but just me loving your product so much. And I feel like I've been wearing it since year one. Yes. And so even for me to see it walking down the 18th hole, it's just, I don't know, what a special moment.
That's really cool.
That was
I'm forever in her debt.
How did winning the US Open change your life, your golf? Like, I'm sure there's a lot more mics in your way, a lot more questions, a lot more people wanting your autograph. Like, other than those obvious things, how did it change?
Yeah, I mean, I think really just the opportunities that I've had. And I mean, I know you said it's obvious, but just the people that I've been able to meet. I mean, it got me onto the Solheim Cup team. That was a big factor in me making the team. And I think just a lot of confidence. I mean, I think everyone on tour is definitely good enough to win, but some girls just, you know, go their entire career without winning. And yeah, I mean, like, it's something that I've even thought about since, like, you know, like I might play really well for the rest of my life and still never even get a second win, right? Like, that's always a possibility. So I think to have the first win and also just to, you know, have it be at Pebble, have it be at the U.S. Women's Open, have my, you know, family and friends out there that week to watch, that was just really, really special. And I mean, moving forward, just, like definitely a big confidence booster, just, you know, kind of being overpumped, being like, okay, like, you know, like, I won the U.S. Women's Open. Like, I can definitely make this.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely helped a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, I even use that same kind of analogy in my own game where it's like you have conquered a lot of things that were harder than this 5-foot putt. You know, like, so you just use that as to build your confidence in later rounds. So I love that it's at every level. Okay, so you had 5 top 10s this year and in pretty big tournaments. So US Open's out of it. The other 4, what was the other most meaningful top 10 this year?
So started out the year in Asia and then didn't play too well the first week in Thailand, but then top 10 came in tied for 3rd, I believe, in Singapore. And I think that was kind of, I guess, the first time that, you know, I felt like I was good enough to win. I mean, it was something that me and Bill, my mental coach, had talked about at the beginning of the year. Like, you know, you're good enough, right? It's just in the moment, like, are you going to hit the right shots? Are you going to, you know, keep everything the same, be able to keep hitting the same shots? And so what we had talked about was like, you know, like winning still seems a bit like scary, right? Like I haven't done it yet, but how can I get more comfortable just, you know, being in the final group or even just being in contention? So that was the second time I was in a final pairing. But then the first time that I had felt like I had played really well on Sunday, even though I didn't win. I mean, I played with Jen Young and Nelly that final round and still felt like, you know, like I had played my game instead of, you know, just letting a few shots go. It had been a really, really solid final round. And I think that kind of set me up for the rest of the year. I mean, I didn't get it done at Chevron, but Chevron felt more like I just didn't hit the ball well the last day. It never really felt like I let shots go because I was uncomfortable. And I think both of those top 10s kind of helped me to prepare me for the Open, where it was like, okay, like I've been in this position before, like haven't finished it out, but I know like I have a history of playing well when I'm in contention. And yeah, you just, you know, go out there and play your best and just hope that that's enough.
Yeah. So you said at the Chevron Championship, you felt uncomfortable?
No, just honestly like hadn't been hitting it well all week and just putted really well the first 3 days to kind of get me into the final group. But I knew it wasn't my best. And going into the final round, it was like, okay, like I just wasn't hitting the ball like I wanted to. But then, yeah, I came around to the US Open, like everything was going right that week.
What are you saying to yourself? Because again, I'm in that spot right now where it just doesn't feel that comfortable. It doesn't feel right over the ball. What do you say to yourself when it doesn't feel great? When, taking your stance and it just doesn't feel good?
I always like just putting in a little extra practice, grip setup, alignment, just really checking that everything is right, even if it doesn't feel that way. Just kind of giving myself all the checks of like, the feel isn't real, right? Like my coach says it all the time. You just have to trust that as long as everything.
What'd you just say? The feel isn't real.
Yeah. So like you might, feel like you're aiming way right, but you put down the lines and it's like, okay, like I know I'm lined up straight. And then I think eventually you just keep working and you get through it.
That's amazing. So. That could go in so many different directions. Like, I feel sad today. No, that's not real.
With us saying on it next week.
That is not real, Tori. You don't feel sad. Wow. Okay. No, I love that. I am going to use that. Isn't that interesting though? Like when it doesn't feel right, like your alignment's not right, and it is. Golf is weird. Yeah. Question: how many tournaments did you play this year?
25.
25 tournaments. So out of the 25, how many, and this is obviously an estimation, we don't have to, take all the notes, but out of the 25, how many do you feel like you played your best golf at?
Probably say like maybe 4. Yes. I mean 4 solid rounds is just really tough.
Yes.
I mean, like even the top 10s, like Dana, I didn't feel like I played very well the first day just because I was tired.
Yeah.
British Open is just, I think it takes a little time to get accustomed to the win. I didn't think my first 2 rounds were very good. Just had a really good weekend. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just being on the road that often and playing that much golf, it is really tough. And then, I mean, I definitely feel like I had at least one good round like every tournament that I played, but just to have 4 really solid rounds is pretty rare.
So relatable. Can you believe out of 25, she won the US Open. She played 25 tournaments, and 4 of them she felt real like it was her best golf. I just want everyone to hear that because, again, just golf is so hard that, you'll play one good round and you think it's just automatically going to show up the next round, and that's just not the case. And I just want everyone to hear that this happens at every level.
Yeah, it definitely happens no matter how good.
Let's actually talk about that travel schedule of the LPGA Tour. Someone did a little social media post. You guys all remember it, where I think it was Tara Rogers, who was showing like the planes going back and forth around the world for your tour. Like, how do you manage that? That looks exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, my strategy the last 2 years has been trying not to play too many in a row, first of all, and then second, trying to choose tournaments that are close to each other. Yeah. So I never really play more than 3 in a row. I did a 5-week stretch last year and I was just like, okay, like I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, because you really did feel it.
I really didn't feel it in those 5 weeks, but then I had a week off, and then the week after that when I played again, I was just so tired. Like I think it just hit me kind of on that next stretch. So a bit of looking at the schedule and kind of figuring out like, hey, like which courses do I want to go back to? And which tournaments are close enough to each other where it's going to be a lot easier to travel to. So I think the geographical flow looks a lot better for next year. So we have like the West Coast swing, a bit of the East Coast, and then, Europe's always together in a stretch. But yeah, just figuring out, I think when you're going to take weeks off is definitely really helpful, and just figuring out, like the best way to rest if you can't take a week off.
Yeah. What does your warm-up look like going into a tournament round? Like, what does that day look like? Let's say your tee time is 10 o'clock. What does that day look like?
Yeah, I typically get to the course 2 hours in advance. Depending on how far I'm staying from the course, I usually warm up at the hotel. So, like, getting ready about 30 minutes, and then about 20, 30 minutes of, like, stretching, warming up. And then I'll go to the course, eat, and then like an hour and a half, hour 15 before I tee off, I'll go hit some balls, and then I usually hit for like 30 to 40 minutes, go chip for like 5-10 minutes, and then putt for about 15. And then I usually go to the tee pretty early, so like 15 minutes in advance, just go use the bathroom, kind of prepare for the round, and then go.
Yeah. Have you noticed, like, has that pre-round routine changed at all? Or has it been pretty steady like that the whole year? Or have you kind of like figured out what's perfect for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty steady. I mean, I'd say that my warm-up routine's probably been the same since college. I mean, I've tweaked it a little bit, a lot more stretching now that I'm getting older and the body doesn't quite move how it used to.
This morning I did one of these, and that was not it. Don't go out on the hour, Allisen.
I mean, I used to just not even stretch, which I know sounds really bad, but I mean, I just
again, relatable. Okay.
But yeah, so just taking a little better care of my body now. I think that's maybe the only change that I've made, just really making sure that, like I'm eating a little healthier, making sure that I'm stretching before and after. But the actual like time of warm-ups and stuff, like I've done an hour 15 for probably 7 years at this point.
Yeah. So when did you graduate?
I graduated
from USC? 2021. Okay. And then Tara, you had a story that you wanted to make sure we touched on today.
Yeah.
I
love the story that your dad told when we were at dinner in LA about how you had called your mom and you were going to maybe be done with golf after 4 years. And then you decided, was it COVID that gave you an extra year in college?
It was.
Yeah. So
tell us about
story.
Because, let's back up all the way. When did you start playing golf? I'm sure it's been a long stretch here. So what was your junior golf career like?
Yeah, so my dad's a big golfer, got me and my older brother into it when I was 4. I mean, we live on a golf course. I grew up just kind of going to the range weekly, and then started playing junior tournaments when I was 7. So played a few state tournaments and with our like state junior golf association, and just had a lot of fun with it. Started playing like the AJGAs and like the mainland tournaments when I was 12. And then verbally committed to SC my sophomore year of high school. And then, ended up at SC.
So you grew up in Hawaii. How is Hawaii state golf and the junior golf in Hawaii?
Yeah, it's actually really strong. Mary B. Porter King, she actually played on tour a very long time ago. And then, started the Junior Golf Association in Hawaii. I mean, we had so many girls my year go play college golf. I want to say we had like 7 girls go on a full ride. And then I think 3 years older than me, there were like another 6 girls. We always had, especially on the girls' side, a lot of really strong players.
And I would imagine like to come and compete on the mainland, I mean, you probably did it frequently and probably a big time money commitment.
Yeah, more throughout the summers than like during the school year. But yeah, my dad's a champ.
he was willing and able.
Yes.
So would you come over to the mainland for like longer stretches then, or?
Yeah. So I mean, I'd play like a few kind of during the school year, but it was pretty tough with school, and then we'd probably do like 6-week stretch during the summer. Just play a bunch of tournaments and then go home.
Yeah. And what was it about USC that you made that decision?
Yeah, I mean, my dad went there for undergrad in dental, so he was kind of telling me like, hey, it's a great school, you'll love it. And then, I mean, I visited, and they had just won a national championship in 2013, so I think I visited in 2014, and the campus is beautiful. And I think it was the perfect mix of both like athletics and academics for me. I mean, I did want to go pro for a very long time. I thought it was just really cool. And like a lot of the girls on my team like turned pro, still are pro, or like have, chosen something else at this point. But I mean, a lot of smart people, a lot of really athletic people.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was that conversation you had with your mother about maybe not turning pro or continuing to play golf after college at a competitive level? How did that come about?
Yeah, had a pretty tough junior year. I mean, academically it was hard, and then you throw on 20 hours of practice and then a little more on the weekends, and I just didn't feel like I was playing good enough at that point. I missed nationals, so the team qualified, but then I didn't qualify to make the playing team for nationals, and so we had just had a qualifier for nationals I had just missed, and And I called them and I was just like kind of thinking like, like I'm not even making the traveling team at this point. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I'm going to turn pro and make nothing, like lose money. And then, I called my parents and was just kind of like, I just don't think this is it. Like, I just think like I'm smart enough to go get a job, make money. And like, I don't think I really thought I was going to quit golf, but it was more like, there's so many people who play golf for fun. Like, I don't know why I'm stressing so much about this.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's a fine line in golf. Like, fun and gets too serious. I get it. So how did that transition happen to where you then committed to trying?
At that point, like, my season was done. I took a little bit of time off, and I was just kind of told myself like, okay, like if I only have one more year, like I want it to be good. And then just started playing really, really well my senior year. And then, COVID interrupted it. So didn't get to finish out that season. But I talked to one of my former teammates who is probably the smartest person I know, Victoria Morgan. And she turned pro for a bit and then ended up at Duke Law School. And now she's working for Paul Hastings, I believe, just a big law firm in LA. And she was just kind of telling me like, like you can always go do law or like whatever else, like for her law, but me, whatever else I'd want to do, like after you can never really go back and say like,
exactly.
Oh, like I want to try golf again. Right. So, I talked to her about it and I was just like, oh, like why, like, do you think it was worth it? Or like, do you wish you had that extra year, 2 years that you turned pro? And she was just like, like you never know. So I think that was kind of my decision maker. I was just like, okay, like if I give it like so many years and just, it doesn't go well, then I still have a lot of time left to do something else. So that 5th year, so COVID happened and then Q School got canceled that year. So going back for my 5th year was a pretty easy decision. Went back and got my master's and just had some extra time to prepare. And just told myself, just see how it goes.
Yeah. Is there something in particular that changed in your golf game from junior year to that senior, or what would you call it, super senior year, because of COVID? Like, is there something that changed specifically in your golf game or you're just striking it better?
I think definitely the attitude change of like, okay, like I actually, want to be working really hard at this. And I think, the work just kind of finally started translating. I think I just kind of started working on the right things. And I don't really look back and say like, like this was a big game changer or anything. It was just like suddenly I was shooting lower scores. Like it didn't really feel like anything had changed. It was just, maybe it was course management or something. I was just going out there and feeling like, okay, like I put in the work, like I should be shooting better than this. And then like, I just did.
Yeah. How was your rookie year? So your rookie year was 2022 then?
Yes.
Okay. How did that year go?
Yeah, it was a lot better than I expected. I think I finished 33 in CME, but yeah, I think I was really lucky to get off to a good start. That first reshuffle, especially as a rookie, is so important, especially coming out of Q School. Like you can lose your status after 6 events if you don't play well enough. And you did
go to Q School?
I did in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. So then,
and you advanced right away?
I did. I went through all three stages.
Fantastic. I feel like I talked to there's so many amazing golfers out there that are so good and so talented, and they go through Q School and they just keep going through Q School, and it just seems so hard. Oh my God. So that's why I had to ask it like that. So, okay, you went through Q School, you got in, and then your rookie year, ending at 32, you said? Ranked 32. That's really good. Did you feel good about it?
Yeah, it was, like exceeded all my expectations. I think just as a rookie, you come on tour and you're just like, I just want to keep my card.
Yeah.
I think that's a very realistic goal for every rookie to have, is just, like you have no idea, how good or how bad you are compared to everyone. So I had some really good finishes and definitely exceeded anything that I could have asked for.
How many events did you play that year?
23.
And what were you most surprised by when you're finally on the LPGA Tour? Like, what is something that you can say I was surprised by, or something that you thought it was going to be like and it wasn't? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I think kind of going back to your earlier question of like, what was the difference? Like, I think I was pretty surprised just how small the difference is between like, being great and like, okay. Everyone's really good, but at the same time, like, they only show good shots on TV.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think just seeing some of the girls like, you know, honestly like hit bad shots, it's just like, oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And just, I think that made me feel a lot more comfortable. Like, it's okay to hit bad shots. You just have to hit more good ones. That helped a lot. And yeah, just how friendly the tour was. I don't think I've met anyone that I haven't liked yet. I mean, everyone's just been really friendly. And especially, I think once they learned I was a rookie, they were like, okay, like, let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Like, yeah, like it really has been like a family on tour.
Do you remember watching Allisen in her rookie year, Tara?
Yeah, so Jordan and I actually drove to LA to see her, and we kind of came running in. You know, you had to take a shuttle and everything, so we were trying to get there when she started, and we like just missed her tee off. And actually, the first person I run into to figure out where the first tee was Stacy, Daniel's mom. And I was like, "Where's the first tee?" And she's like, "Oh, that's where we're going." And so we all ran over there, and you like birdied the first hole, and I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome." And then we met her mom and dad, and you know, and we were kind of just all walking along together. But like, she played amazing there. And we were all like excited, you know, along the sides, and we're like high-fiving, and your mom is like, you know, don't count your chickens before they're hatched, you know, and like, just everybody stay calm, you know.
Cheers, like cheering after the first hole birdie.
Yeah. But no, it was exciting. It was a really good tournament, and I can't remember if it was the last day or the second last day you got paired with Lexi, and yeah, it was just so cool to see up close. And you know, being a parent of a golfer, like, you know, I know how stressed out I am. My daughter's just playing in some little tournament. And so like, you almost like feel the stress that the parents are carrying.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you know, and I'm like stressed out, and I'm like, you know, some of my child, and I'm like stressed out over here, but it's fun. And I made it to a few tournaments. Pine Needles, I flew out, and that was really fun too. And you were playing with Lily Abu one day, and I like text Jason, and I'm like, before this year started, I was like, Lily Abu and Allisen are going to win this year. And they both like had incredible years.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What's the difference between your father's approach on your golf career and your mother's approach? Like how do they help you in different ways or in the same way?
Yeah, I'd say they're pretty similar. I mean, my dad's more the one who traveled with me through junior golf, and then my mom kind of took over once I turned pro. But I think they've both always been really supportive, and I mean, I can't thank them enough for all that they've invested into me.
Do they go to a significant amount of tournaments during the year?
So my mom travels with me full time, and then my dad tries to do like the majors and like the closer events. But I mean, he's still working, so it's a little bit harder for him to.
So does your mom act like kind of like a manager and like take care of everything, like know where you guys are staying and you know the schedule and everything? Does she act like that role?
Yeah, so my dad actually helps me with all the booking, like flights, hotel. My mom just kind of helps me like on the ground. I mean, laundry, cooking, just all the other like non-golf stuff, which you don't think it's as hard as it is. And then
it's a lot.
Yeah, and then once you have to do it, it's definitely a lot of work. So
I feel like you're probably really lucky to have your mom there with you. Is that normal, like for a lot of players to have their mom or someone, even if it's like their significant other, with them throughout the entire year? Is that normal? Or
I'd say most girls travel alone. I'd say probably like 20 to 30 girls have like, a manager, parent, or significant other traveling with them. So it's not super common, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely super lucky that my mom travels with me.
Okay, 3 more things I want to touch on before we wrap things up. One is your caddy. So have you had the same caddy since you got on tour, or how's that relationship been?
Yeah, just got connected to Jay pretty randomly. Got into the second tournament of the year pretty late, the the drive on. So got in like Thursday night, and I was just like, oh, like I need someone to carry my bag. And reached out to a different caddy that I had met at Q school, and he was like, hey, like, sorry, like I've already picked up a bag for the week, but let me see if I can find you someone good. And yeah, connected me to Jay, and we just had a good first week. And I was just like, hey, like, do you want a caddy for me for the rest of the season? Like, I don't have anyone. And he was kind of just like, yeah, like I was going to ask you the same thing. And yeah.
This is 2023 season?
This is 2022.
Okay, 2022.
So we've been working together for 2 years at this point.
Oh my God, talk.
Yeah.
He is. So he is married to Jennifer Cupcho.
Yes, that's what I thought. There was a tie somewhere.
So the benefit for him, right, is he gets to travel with his wife and caddy.
Oh, yeah, that does work out well. So kind of random, though, that you guys got paired together in 2022 and you've been together ever since. And what about him and his personality helps you out there on the course?
Yeah, so I mean, before he started caddying, he actually tried to play professionally as well. I know he's told me that, you know, like he would kind of play through the summers and then work winters, save up some money, and then go play again the next summer. And I think once he met Jen, it was kind of just time for him to try something different. And so he came out on tour, caddied a bit. And I mean, I just think like he's just been like kind of an older brother, like ever since I met him, just really, really good at, you know, kind of knowing what to say to me, like whenever we're in like spots, just kind of knowing like when he needs to like hype me up a bit or like, you know, just kind of help me out. And I think just, having all the golf knowledge. I mean, he helps me read putts. He does a really great job of just preparing right for tournaments. Like he usually walks the course ahead of our practice rounds, just stuff like that. And I think, like he always passes along some information from Jen. I mean, she won 3 times last year. So like every time we were in contention, he was just like, okay, like when I played with Lexi, he was like, okay, like you might want to consider, like, I know you mark a lot of your, you know, like shorter, like second putts, but you might want to consider putting first, like just because once she finishes, her crowd walks. So it's just like, just a lot of like little things like that where like, whether it was from her or like from his past experience, he would just pass it along to me. It's just stuff like that where it's stuff you don't even really consider. And then he tells, like, you know, he tells me and I'm like, oh, you know, like that makes sense.
Yeah. Were you a little starstruck with like the Lexis or Nellies at all when you first played with them for the first time, or how was that experience?
Yeah, so I actually played junior golf with Nellie, so not too starstruck with her. Lexi definitely, just because she's a little older. I've seen her on TV so much, but like I kind of try to like not act like it and kind of, I mean, you can't, yeah, it's very hard to play golf, I think, just, you know, them knowing that you're a fan,
So try not to make golf even harder, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, so what I passed over is, did you have any significant like USAM appearances, or did you play in a lot of USGA events growing up? How was that career like?
Yeah, I played a lot of USGA events. I just never played very well at them. I mean, I feel like it's so tough where, you know, like once you make the cut, it's match play. Yeah. So even if you play well, you can still lose. You can play bad and win your match. But I think like that was definitely a really good experience. The USGA just knows how to run the championship properly. And I think especially, like carrying over to the US Open, like, you know how they're going to set up the course. I mean, this year was my 5th US Open. So definitely felt a lot more prepared than, my first one where it's kind of like, wow, like it's the US Open. Like, I'm just happy to be here. Now being a pro and saying like, hey, like I can go out and have a good week. Like making the cut wasn't something that I thought about my first US Open, right? So I think just having the experience of like playing the championship courses and seeing the tough setups definitely helped.
Is gaining distance a big goal for you, or not really?
Not really. It would definitely be nice, but I mean, I also hit it fairly average. So if I hit it more on the shorter side, I think it definitely would be. Like, I think distance is important, but I'm also a very consistent ball striker. And for me, that's been more important.
Yeah. I hear you. Give us some of that over here. Okay, let's finish up with the Solheim Cup. So you said that you made the team after obviously winning the US Open, but I gotta believe you would have still been on the team even if that US Open victory didn't happen. But overall, how was that experience? And you know, tell us all the things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've attended one in the past. I
haven't.
Okay, you definitely should in the future. I mean, it is nuts. Everyone kind of told us like Stacy told us going into the week, like, hey, this is like the craziest week of your life. Like, be prepared for it. It's so busy. And I mean, obviously, so I went into the week knowing, you know, it's how it's going to be. And then you go to the first tee and literally, because there's only 4 groups on the course at any given point until singles, so every single hole is just lined with fans. Yeah. They're playing music really loud. Like, the first tee shot happens, like they're playing music, people are screaming at you, and then you set up to the ball and it goes silent. It's just stuff like that. And I mean, the team environment as well, just knowing, you know, like you're playing for your country and playing for the other girls on the team, I think is so special. And it's just not golf that we see very often, right? So just, like having a partner, doing the alternate shot, best ball, that, and like match play, like that's fairly rare for us.
Yeah.
So just having the change of pace and just having it be kind of like our premier women's like tournament, it was so much fun.
Yeah. How was team morale after the tie, after it finished?
Yeah, I mean, definitely disappointed, but at the same time, like we gave it our all. And I mean, yeah, we tied, but I do think that was like our best appearance in Europe for in a very long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely very hopeful going into this year and feel like we set a really good foundation for what's to come.
And does your experience this year make it to be there next year? Because it's weird. They're kind of trying to flip-flop the years from Ryder Cup. So this year you're playing again in 2024. Is that one of your big goals, to make it back on the team?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I gotta believe that will happen. I mean, so you had such a blast, huh? Who were your partners? Remind me who your partners are.
So I played with Nelly for alternate shot twice, and then I played with Jennifer Kupcho for best ball once, and then singles.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is so much fun. That's so much fun. Is it going into, because you're going to make the team this year, so going into the 2024 Solheim Cup, what will you do maybe differently now that you've experienced one before?
I wouldn't say that I would do anything differently. I think I would just feel more prepared for the atmosphere. I mean, yeah, like I can't even describe to you like how loud it gets. And yeah, I mean, I think just having been through it once, I'm hoping that I'll be better the second time around. But no, like it really is just like so much fun at the end of the day, like more than the pressure and everything. It's just like, wow, like I'm playing the Solheim Cup.
Wait, and isn't it Summer Olympics this year too?
Yes.
So golf is still in the Olympics, right? Yeah, they didn't like cancel that or anything. So that will be a thing, right? Trying to get on the Olympic team. How does that work?
So it's top 2 representatives for each country, up to 60 participants, but then a country can go up to 4 if you're ranked in the top 15.
Okay.
So realistically, I think Nelly and Lilia will be 1 and 2 for the US, but if I can stay in the top 15 of rankings, then I have a pretty good chance.
When is that decision made? Do you know?
I can't remember the exact date, but it's right after KPMG. I think like the end of June.
So that's a good amount of time. Okay, so it's considering this is your off season right now, right?
Yeah.
Is it short? How long is your off season?
About 4 weeks. 5 weeks.
Okay, so what are you focusing on in these 4 weeks, if anything? Are you just kind of enjoying the recovery part of it?
Yeah, definitely just gonna start with some time off, and then probably
How long will you go without a club in your hand?
at least 2 weeks.
Good for you. Oh my God, I love that for you.
And then
And you're able to just detach from it and not and be like, I deserve that. I'm just not going to touch a club, and that's that.
it's a lot easier than you think.
Oh, it is. Wow. I love that. Okay, so then what's your goal during the off season, and then let's get into 2024.
Yeah. So definitely just a bit of a break to start, and then probably just take a look at how this season went. Really do a deep dive into the stats and kind of, like what have I been doing well? What can I do better? Set new goals, and just get back to work.
And is your schedule for 2024 already kind of outlined, mapped out? But you can still kind of
we have our schedule out. I've kind of done like the first half of the year. So it is pretty dependent on like if I make the Olympics and then stuff like that, like I might, not play the week before, get some rest. But for the most part, I have it outlined.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
Again, thank you so much for coming on the show. What an inspiration you are. Seriously. I mean, and I'll wrap up with this. Has there been a time in the past couple years too that you've just felt really down and you thought you might never play to your best again? Does that kind of thing happen?
I think the more it happens, the more you realize like you're going to get out to the other side.
And how do you handle those times?
At this point, it's more just telling myself like, okay, like once you put in the work, you just have to wait.
Yeah, you just have to work through it. Yeah, the roller coaster of golf. Tara, what do you got? What's a last question you have for Allisen?
Well, one, I think the Solheim Cup's going to be way louder this year because it's in the U.S.
Yes.
And I took Jordan to the Solheim Cup in Ohio. I mean, there was 90%, of course, for US. So it was crazy. And I thought she was going to like wear out at some point in the day, and she really didn't. And we walked that course, twice a day. And
you got your steps in for
and then she'd be, she had her people she wanted to see. And, at that time she was, Nelly. And so, it was like, here to Nelly, and then where's Lexi? And then back to Nelly. And I was like, whoa, let me tell you, like, I'm just trying to keep up at this point. But yeah, it's going to be loud in 2024.
And are you going to be there?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, for sure.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say what is happening next with Taylor Jordan too. Like, so give us a sneak peek at some spring and summer stuff. That
we're going to have a new name, starting January 1st, which will be TJ Sport.
Okay.
And, we kind of been working through that for a while. So that is a big hurdle that we're just going to be over and be done with, and, hopefully not look back. Obviously we always got to have some new racerbacks, and we actually found a really nice material that one of our Epson Tour players, Emily Hoffman, tried on the other day, and she's like, can you just make everything in this material? So, we're kind of happy with that, but, some of the same styles, new materials, some new colors, we're always just trying to think ahead a little bit, and we kind of need to get ahead on our schedule. We already need to be prep. You always got to be like 2 years ahead of time. And so
it's crazy.
It's just, for as small as we are, it's hard for us to get ahead of schedule. And that's probably really the biggest hurdle for us right now. But yeah, I mean, it's, PGA show in January, and then it's just full throttle.
Do you know your booth number yet?
5751, I think.
Okay, sure. There you go, people. Anyone going to the PGA show?
And it'll be under TJ Sport, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Allisen, again, best of luck to you this year.
Thank you.
Do you have a goal? Do we want to say it out loud?
Olympic Solheim Cup for sure, and just keep working the putter, get it a little better.
Is it all about the flat stick?
No, but I'd say that ball striking doesn't need too much more work.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. Well, good luck. Thank you again for being on. Thanks, Tara.
Yep.
Here.
Anytime.